Hi. So that, of course, was George Gershwin's opening to his amazing piece, Rhapsody in Blue. And it's always fun for me to play that piece because the freedom that Gershwin allowed the clarinetist to have. Um, the technique for playing that is pretty simple. You just really have to relax, let yourself go. And as for sliding your fingers off the clarinet, the best technique is to slide both hands off together, not first the right hand and then the left hand, but actually right and left together. You can see how I'm doing it. And one trick that we use is just take a bit of oil from this area of the face, and it just gives a bit more lubrication to the fingers to slide off the piece. So to answer a few questions, first about reeds, I probably go through in the course of a season 100 reeds, but I have anywhere between 15 and 20 reeds at any given time ready to go. They're very susceptible to weather conditions, heat and humidity. The entire instrument, in fact, is deeply affected by temperature. And for instance, when we do concerts out at Butchard's, when we start off the concert in the evening, the tent can be very warm from being exposed to the sun all day, and the clarinets are incredibly sharp, almost unplayably sharp. But by the time the sun sets, everything comes down, and all of a sudden we can play in tune. It's wonderful. But it's a very sensitive instrument to those conditions. The reeds also play such a huge factor. The reeds I use are real reeds made out of wood, and of course very susceptible to any change in weather and humidity. Synthetic reeds, plastic reeds, which the best that I've come across, Leger reeds, are made in Canada, a Canadian invention. He's very successful, and I'm very happy for him. And I did play them, but I prefer, for me, real reeds. I do make my own reeds, but I also, when I'm having not a good run of making my own reeds, I will use commercial reeds, either made in France or in Austria. And one of the most important parts of the clarinet is the mouthpiece, and I have many. But this current one is made by a friend in Chicago. He's the second clarinetist in the Chicago Symphony, Greg Smith, and this one is made out of wood as well. Most clarinetists use rubber or plastic mouthpieces. Excuse me. But I like wood. I like the real materials. But again, being wood, it's very sensitive to changing conditions. And of course, the heat and humidity of blowing into the wood can cause problems. But I keep it well oiled, and that seems to stabilize it quite a bit. The clarinet I'm currently using and have been using for the past 15 years are the G series by Yamaha. The G stands for German, and this one is the GH, and the H stands for the Hamilton gold finish on the keys, and it's called Hamilton because it was an alloy patented by the Hamilton Watch Company. And Hamilton is a fantastic watch company. I'm proud to say I inherited one from my wife's great uncle, and I'm just thrilled to have that in my possession as well. So that's kind of neat. There's that connection. I love the detail and care that Yamaha puts into making their instruments. They play right out of the box, whereas many manufacturers, first thing you have to do is take it to a repairman to get it to be able to play. I am going to be looking at some other manufacturers soon, and this week I am expecting, on a trial basis, some clarinets from my good friend in Vancouver, Maury Bakun, who owns Bakun Musical. He is one of the leading manufacturers of top-end clarinets in the world, and has thousands of orders. In fact, he has a 2-year waiting list for his instruments. and his factory is astounding. But the instrument that I'm most interested in is actually carbon fiber with a wood core. So it's a wood clarinet surrounded by carbon fiber, because wood, of course, suffers from damages, again, from heat and humidity, and they can often crack. I've been fortunate that this particular clarinet has not cracked, but my other clarinet, the A clarinet, did crack last season, and of course that's always upsetting, but it still works great. But, who wants a broken instrument? So, in the orchestra we use generally two clarinets, one pitched in B flat and the other pitched in A. And in this orchestra, about 55 to 60% of the repertoire we play is for A clarinet, which is interesting. Mozart preferred the A clarinet because it just has a deeper, warmer, broader sound. It plays half a pitch lower, and his clarinet concerto and clarinet quintet for clarinet and strings are written for A clarinet. Johannes Brahms also keenly recognized the tonal differences presented for the A clarinet. And when he came out of retirement, the first two pieces he wrote, his trio and his quintet, were written for A clarinet. His sonatas, which we share with violists, are written for the B flat. So that's my instruments of the trade or tools of the trade brief description. Always looking to improve, always trying to get better. And another question that I was posed was, what are my favorite pieces? And that is always a challenging question for any musician to answer. It comes in waves and fancies, and recently I continue to just be enraptured by the music of Sergei Prokofiev. In particular, his ballets, his Romeo and Juliet, his Cinderella, which I'm just now discovering, and another amazing ballet that's almost unheard of, The Stone Flower, which is astounding music. He was such a wonderful composer, but his greatest works were not his symphonies, though his first and fifth are masterpieces, no question, and I love them. I can't get enough of them, but his ballets are where his true genius really flourished. I'm always a big fan of Mozart. I can listen to him all day long, and if I had to have a desert island piece, it would probably be Così fan tutti, Mozart's amazing opera. It's just so beautiful. But just give me Mozart any day.